A lot of those are not physically demanding jobs, other than your ability to sit comfortably in a chair all day. Teresa says, I'm in sterile processing. So I had to look up sterile processing because I didn't know what that was. But sterile processing, from what I found on the Googles, is basically people who clean medical supplies, which I imagine is a very important job. Anyways, Teresa says, I'm in sterile processing, but want to get into tech. Not sure which route I want to take, but I like hands-on, like physically fixing things and figuring out how things work. My job is pretty physical, but I want to move on to using my brain more because I'm getting older. What path would you recommend? I don't have any IT experience, by the way, but I have recently purchased an A+ course to help me prepare for a cert to make my chances better at landing a help desk role. So Teresa, Miss Wright wants to get out of the medical industry. I'm assuming that's what sterile processing is based on my Google search, but she wants to get out of that industry and go into tech, and she wants to use her brain instead of her hands because she is getting older. So here's the thing, Miss Teresa, a lot of tech jobs these days, and I understand tech is a very broad term. When I talk about tech, obviously everybody should have an understanding that I'm talking about information technology. So a lot of tech jobs these days are really powered by the brain. I mean, you're not going to be out there fixing a lot of things unless you find yourself doing like tier 1 type work at the help desk, or you're some type of field technician, like take the guys that come through and install the cable, or the guys that are out there digging up the ground, putting fiber optics into the side of the road. Obviously, a lot of those jobs are hands-on, but a lot of traditional tech roles that I talk about on this channel, like system administrator, network administrator, anything leading you in the cloud, networking, cybersecurity, even database development, computer programming, all of that wonderful stuff right there. A lot of those are not physically demanding jobs, other than your ability to sit comfortably in a chair all day and also stare at a computer screen, hoping you don't get screen blindness, right? That is about the most physical aspects of those jobs. A lot of those jobs do require you to use your brain. Well, all jobs require you to use your brain, but these are actually brain intensive activities because you have to actually figure out how to solve problems, and then how you actually come up with the solution oftentimes involves you click-clacking away, typing some stuff up, right? It's not necessarily about you going out there to lift a 20-pound box and install a brand new router and figure out how to wire this whole thing up. Now you're running freaking cables through the ceiling because you're trying to set up drops. We're not really doing all that stuff right there at that level. Like I say, when you start talking about the help desk level, tier 1 type stuff, they may do a lot of that depending upon the nature of the company that they work at and what their primary business is and why you were hired. But you start getting into those higher level roles, guess what? We're all sitting behind desks with our freaking systems on one screen and, responding to tickets, or keep, looking at whatever systems we got to monitor. And then we got Amazon, Netflix, and YouTube on the other screen. That's kind of what we do at this level. So any job that you pretty much go into, for the most part, like I say, networking, cybersecurity, database, cloud, a lot of that stuff is not going to be physically taxing on your body. I believe if you do decide to make the transition, I think you will be okay. Like I say, you might have to, if you decide to go the help desk route, which is not a 100% requirement, but if you do decide to go the help desk route, you may find yourself doing some physical stuff, but I wouldn't be too concerned about, is it going to be some back-breaking, labor-intensive work? The most you might find yourself doing is getting on your hands and knees and plugging stuff up into the wall to set up a workstation or something like that, if you had to get like physical in that sense. So hopefully that answers the question for Mrs. Teresa Wright. Any path in tech that you choose to go, I think you'll be okay, and you will be using your brain to solve a lot of problems versus you wearing out your body. So hopefully that addresses her question.